I'm so excited to talk to you guys today. I have a topic on mind. It is God, why not me? And what to do when you feel like, God, why not me? Why is it happening for everyone else and it's not happening for me? Now, I am live. This is a live stream. But if you are watching the replay, I want to hear what your thoughts are on this topic because this is something that a lot of people are thinking. And I myself think about this sometimes, right? So recently, I had a conversation with a friend, and it was such a beautiful conversation. And it was based around the idea of God, why not me? When is it going to be my turn? When is it going to be my turn? And so it just made me have a few thoughts that I do want to share. And this thought is so easy to come by, especially in the season of social media when everyone seems like everything is working out for them. It's so easy to feel like God has forgotten you and forgotten what you've been asking for and what you desire. And I know this is not something I usually talk about on the channel, but it's a conversation or it's a type of conversation that I do want to begin to foster because it is so important and has a lot to do with how we feel about ourselves and how we feel about showing up in the online space, how we feel about being visible, how we show up for others in relationships, and all of those things. So I really wanted to have this conversation, and also having it with a friend earlier just kind of reminded me like you need to talk about more stuff like this. So I was speaking to a friend earlier and she was speaking about how she feels like she's working so hard. She's working so hard, she's putting in the work, and she feels like things are not happening fast enough for her. And sometimes I'm coaching people, and a lot of their angst and anxiety and pressure and confusion and all of the feelings that we feel about life sometimes comes from the feeling that we are not enough. We're not where we're supposed to be. Things are not coming out the way that we desired for them to come out. Like, for example, you're probably thinking, I'm going to be a certain age and I should have accomplished certain things by this time. And so a lot of things come from that kind of, from those kinds of feelings, right? You start thinking, what is going on with me? I'm not accomplishing the goals that I set out to accomplish. I don't feel like I am, frankly, accomplishing anything that I'm supposed to accomplish. I'm worried about things that I have no control about, but in the moment, you're not even thinking about it like that or feeling like that. And if you're feeling anything that I'm saying, please let me know in the comments. I'm going to turn on my comments in a little bit and take a look at them because I do want to answer some questions. And I want us to chit chat about this because this is something that a lot of people are feeling. So, what my friend shared with me was that she saw someone at work accomplish someone that she saw someone at work, sorry, accomplish something that she had been trying to accomplish for a really, really long time. Like she was trying to accomplish this thing. And someone else came through and surpassed the accomplishment. And so she was left in the dust, feeling like, God, when is it going to be my turn? When am I going to get whatever it is that I desire? I've been working so hard. I've been putting in the work. I've been praying. I've been fasting. I've been doing everything I can possibly do, and it's just not happening for me. And I'm so frustrated. And she shared with me that she felt like crying, and she did cry, and she needed to speak to somebody about it. And let me tell you something. I have felt this way before, and I felt this way so many times. And I'll just share a few stories, as we go along. But I felt this way so many times. And as life would have it, truth be told, to be honest, I know this is something that we are human. We are human. And I know this is something that I will feel again in the future or again as time passes, right? So it's something that we just feel or experience as humans, especially because of the internet, being in the online space. These are feelings that we are going to have pretty often. And I think it's important to understand why we feel this way, but to also understand how to observe these feelings. So I'm going to share a few things that have helped me to observe these feelings when I have felt like this. So, I want to also say that we're not always aware of what. So this is the first thing, actually. we're not always aware of what somebody else put in or the time that they put in to accomplish a specific goal, right? We don't know what those people are doing to get where they are. And this is something my grandfather always used to say. Don't envy anyone because you don't know what they're doing or what they did to get where they are, or to get what they have, right? You see someone with a nice car, you don't know what they did. You don't know if they have great credit, messed up credit. You don't know if they borrowed money to buy that car. You just do not know. I remember hearing a story about a guy who borrowed $2,500 from one of his friends to go to the club to, spend money and buy bottles one Friday, right? Like what? And so I can imagine other people being in the club in that room, looking at this guy and feeling like, whoa, this guy is living the life. He has so much money, he's in the club, the girls are around him because he has so much money, like not knowing that he borrowed that money to go to the club. Okay. I genuinely saw that in a comment section on social media, by the way. But and it doesn't always have to be bad, right? When I say it doesn't always have to be bad, we don't know if someone is working like laborious hours, like they're working from sun up to sundown to have what they have. And then you have to start to ask yourself specific questions, which I'll talk about in a little bit. But you don't know what someone else is putting in to get where they are. When we think about social media, you might see someone building $1 million brand on social media, and you don't know what sacrifices they're making to do that. You don't know if they're posting 7 videos a day or 10 videos a day. And then you have to be honest with yourself and ask yourself, is that something that I am ready to do? I remember when I was first building my business, this is years ago, over 10 years ago, I remember going through a season of I'm not going to be buying anything or spending money on anything. I stopped going to the nail salon and started learning to do my nails at home. I started learning to do my hair myself. I started learning to do my makeup myself. There are so many things that I started learning how to do myself because I wanted to save money and I didn't want to pay someone else to do it. And frankly, when I think about it, that's how I got a lot of my skills from when I was younger, not wanting to pay someone to do some of these things, right? And so when you are thinking about um, what someone else is accomplishing, you really got to ask yourself, like, what sacrifices am I making to get this thing that I really, truly desire? Right? Because we don't know what that person is sacrificing. They might be sacrificing time and not going anywhere like I did for a season when I was building my business. Right. They might be sacrificing money and really deciding, I'm not going to shop or spend anything. I'm going to invest my money in ads for my business, or I'm going to invest my money to hire someone else to help me with my business. And so it kind of helps you to ask yourself questions as well. One thing I see a lot, especially when I'm coaching people to get on camera, to create videos, to create content, is that they're comparing themselves to somebody's today versus looking at creators who started years ago and, they started with their phone, or they started with a really tiny digital camera when that's all they had at that time, and now they're able to afford different cameras and all the things. And sometimes we're skipping steps in that way because we want what they have right away, and it took them 10 years to be able to do what they're doing in the way that they're doing it. And it's the same thing with skills, right? We'll look at someone who is a great editor and be like, I want to learn to edit like that tomorrow, versus remembering, oh my gosh, like it took that person 5 years to learn how to edit in that way. And I'm trying to accomplish it in 5 days. And when you start putting things into perspective in that way, it's so helpful. Again, let me know if any of this is resonating with you or not. The other thing is sometimes we think we have to reevaluate. Oh, sorry, not think. Sometimes we have to reevaluate what we want and really ask ourselves, why do I want this? I want to talk about this, y'all, because in the online space, we're basically all living one life. Yesterday, I shared on Threads a screenshot of people having a conversation. This girl said, "Oh my gosh, Biggie died around 26 and Tupac died around 24, and I just crossed that age, and oh my gosh, I was nervous because I thought I was gonna die." And somebody in the comments said, "Girl, why are you nervous about turning that age and being afraid of dying? Are you in a rap beef?" And I was dying laughing. And as soon as I scrolled, I saw someone, speak about the same topic. I'm saying all this to say this is the first time in history that we are all living in the same, um, you know, time frame or consciousness. We're looking at the same people. We're reading the same books. We're on the same apps. We're seeing the same conversations at the same time. And I think sometimes what that does is it makes us want things. And that's basically even what consumerism is right now. So we'll want something because somebody else has it, or we'll want something because everyone has it, right? So you start feeling like if you are not driving a specific car, you're not enough. And so, or you might, because someone else got this car and because you don't have it, you're not enough. And that's something that I really want us to really think about, right? Even, I remember recently seeing someone ask, like, "Are you guys still wanting the white boucle couches?" And I don't know if I'm pronouncing that word correct, or correctly, I should say. But she said, "I'm asking because everyone had them a few years ago and she was going to buy one." And then she realized that she's not going to get it because somebody told her she'll hate it in a few years. Right. And so she didn't get it. But now she realizes 5 years later, she really wants it and she really likes it. But sometimes we're doing something because everybody has it. And so she probably was asking herself, like, do I want this thing because everybody has it? And I'm seeing it over and over and over everywhere I turn. Even when we look at, decor and design right now, home decor and design. Everyone is doing the same thing because we're all reviewing the same thing. We're all using the same thing. And so everyone is doing the exact same thing, right? All houses look the same. Think about before in history, where everyone could have exercised their own style and their own way of dressing or their home decorations because they weren't constantly seeing what other people's houses looked like and trying to replicate that. Right? Am I making sense, y'all? I hope I'm making sense because these are the things I think about when I think about wanting what someone else has. The other thing is, you really got to ask yourself, what would having this thing do for me? Why do I really want it? Because a lot of times we're not rooted in what we say we want, and we don't know if it's essentially the right thing for us. We just want it because someone wants it. You really have to sit with yourself and figure out, why do you want this thing? Because sometimes, because you're not rooted in what you say you want, it's just not going to happen in the way that you really want it to happen, right? So I really wanted to share that. And the third thing is, I have two more things actually. The third thing is, you really have to check in with yourself and you have to be honest and ask yourself. Sometimes we're asking God, why not me? Why isn't it my time yet? Why isn't it working for me? And honestly, you just have not been doing what you're supposed to do in order to get what you'd like to get. So that is something that I do want to share, right? How have you been helping yourself until God can help you, right? Like, this comes back to me. I remember living in Brooklyn in a little tiny apartment with like almost no natural light. And I would tell myself, in order for God to give me more, I got to take care of this. I got to show him that I could keep this clean and spick and span, and I could design it how I want. And I can, pour love into it so that he can give me more. And sometimes we have to be honest with ourselves and ask ourselves, I know I said I want XYZ, but am I doing what it takes to get what I really want? What does your discipline look like? Also, if someone else got what you want, what does their discipline look like versus your discipline? I think these are things that we should really check on or connect with, right? Do you have a plan for what you say you want? Because sometimes the person that you're looking at and admiring and upset that they have a plan and they've been working the plan and they're sticking to the plan, right? The other thing is, do I believe that I deserve whatever it is that I truly desire? Because a lot of us don't believe that we deserve. And that is something that you have to sit with. We might say we want something, and because of the way that our trauma with money is designed, you say you want it, but the work to understand that you really do deserve it is a whole different ball game. The last thing I want to share about this is about being present with yourself, because sometimes, not sometimes, a lot of times you have so many blessings that somebody else does not have. Right? And I don't know if that makes sense when I say it in that way, but somebody could have like the best promotion at work, the best car, the best this, the best that. And you really have to be able to also look at your life and look at the best things that you have in life that may not have the value or the monetary value of what somebody else has. And I think that's a really great place to, you know, what is the word that I'm trying to say? Ground or root yourself in. I think that is really, really important. And sometimes we miss that. So I wanted to share that because it's just so important. Hey guys, let me look at the comments and see what you guys are saying. Hey Derek, how are you? Hey Alex, good evening, good evening. Hello, Disney Dancer. You're gorgeous. Also, love your channel. Thank you so much for being here. I appreciate that. Thank you for your kind words. Listen, I just wanted to have this conversation today because I feel like, everyday living with Lorena said, hello, good topic. We cannot be distracted or with the poison of comparison or competition, which I like to call community. What is for you will happen. We have to remember that God is in control. Absolutely. I really, really, really believe that. Oh, I love this. Been inspired said, or been inspired, I like that name. Said, I left my job with the government and I'm trying to start my coaching business and content. It's overwhelming. I know my purpose, but ADHD and capacity won't always allow me to be great. I totally get this. It's so crazy because a few months ago, I created a piece of content based on ADHD, and people were so surprised to know that, first of all, I resonate. And I think when I shared that piece of content too, they saw themselves in what I shared. It's really hard to run a business when you do have ADHD, and it takes a lot of discipline, focus, and consistency, which are things that are really hard for someone with a neurodivergent brain, right? But if you're in this ecosystem, I share tips for that all the time. I have conversations about that all the time. So happy to have you here, and congrats on launching your coaching business. And yeah, I would love to learn more about you. Okay, let me see. I know I'm on the short speed, so I also have a bunch of trolls in here as well. But hey, guys. Hey, Kiva. Hey, hey, hey. Groupthink is so real, you guys. And it's so important for us to lean into that individuality. Because listen, uh, it's so easy to fall into the groupthink and, allowing other people to think for us and tell us how we should think, how we should dress, what we should cook, just all the things. And, I'm saying that, and that's also part of the fun of being on social media. But also, it's also good to log off and make your own decisions and make your own. Have your own thoughts about things. But I really wanted to just come on and share this because I felt compelled to. I felt like it's something that I kind of sat with all day because of that phone call. And hey Danelle, hi. I want to remind you guys just to be present and to be really present in your own journey as well. Things are happening for you the way that it's supposed to happen. Be patient with the process that you're going through. Be cognizant of what you can do differently, what your goals are, what you really want, and what changes you need to make along the way to accomplish the things that you do want to accomplish, because it's not easy out there. Thank you, Kiva. I really appreciate you. It's not easy out here. Like, you know, yeah, we can just get caught up in all the things. And the last thing I want to share before I get off is the thing that you are most afraid of, or the thing that you are avoiding. I want you to sit with what that thing is, because a lot of us don't know what it is, right? So for some people, it might be leaving their job. For some people, it might be getting married. For some people, it might be falling in love. For some people, it might be getting fired. Like, everyone has a thing that they are so, so, so afraid of. And even as we're talking about this right now, I'm asking myself, like, what would you be like completely afraid of? And I feel like I've taken so many wild risks in my life, y'all. But ask yourself, what is it that I'm most afraid of happening to me? And when you ask yourself that, I want you to know that there is so much growth for you on the other side of that, that you cannot dictate or control, but it will work out just as it's supposed to. There's no right way or no wrong way for life to unfold. So, your biggest fear, the other side of your biggest fear, which is you going through that, is also going to be your biggest accomplishment. That's what I want you to think about. Kiva said, my knee jerk is to be risk averse. And I totally get it. But without no risks, there's no rewards. And that's something that I had to really learn early in my journey of, like, you know what? I'm going to move to a new state alone. Or I'm going to do the opposite of what everybody on my island is doing, and, move abroad. Like, there's so many things that I could look back at my younger self and be like, girl, are you crazy, or were you crazy? And as you get older, you kind of lose some of the ability to take risks, because life, right? But also, there's so many rewards on the other side of you taking risks for yourself. And it doesn't change because you're a different age. It's just that you are more afraid on the inside, and you're more aware that something is risky. But there's also so much trust that you have to have in yourself to know that it will work out. It will all work out. Anyway, I love you guys. I appreciate you so much for watching, for tuning in, and for being here. And like I said, I know this is not something that I would usually share, but I felt the need to come on and just share this message, because yeah, yeah, I really, really wanted to. Um, yeah. Let me see. Kiva said, "Ooh, that would be a good topic to reflect on. I'm sure if we all look around, we'll find it. We'll find that we've done it before. I'm so curious about yours." Yeah, it's so crazy. I'm gonna think about that too. Like, what is that for me in this season? You know, um, I really have to think about it, because I feel like I've taken so many risks. I've done so much in my time. So I would really have to think about it. But if I figure it out, I'm gonna share it. And I'm also trying to focus being on the live as well. But we'll definitely share um, as I figure it out. But yeah, I love you guys. I appreciate you, and I will talk to you soon. Take care.